What's up, guys? Welcome back to HOA MMA. AJ, after our week off, how are you doing, man?
I mean, good man. I mean, I know I've mentioned it to you just now um, off, off the camera, but just finally managed to get like my foot seen. Dealing with a bit of a nagging injury after a while. The results come up good. Got to do 8 weeks of rehabbing it. So after that, I should be all good to go. Apart from that, life is pretty good. It's still hot over here. The heat wave
Yeah.
is still keep on going. Even though it's rained like a few days, kind of cool things down a bit, but still fairly warm. Got a vacation to look forward to in a couple of weeks. And the biggest news, the game changing news today, another Dune trailer drop, man. Another Dune trailer drop, man.
I
Film
saw
of the
I saw your
century
tweet.
on
And I
the
was
way.
like, I saw your tweet, and I was like, it's got to be Dune. It's got to be the
gotta
Dune
be.
trailer.
Film of the century on the way, bro. On the way.
All right, give us a quick insight on what was in the new Dune trailer.
So I don't know. I'm gonna act as if no one's ever seen the films or like read the book.
That's fair.
So, you know, we had Doom Part 1, which came out in 2021. That covers the first half. This covers the second half. This has it's the more action orientated of it all, This is kind of when like Paul and the three men kind of start to like, make their move. Paul goes out and he's trying to get revenge whilst also trying to like fulfill the prophecy, yada yada yada. There is like a lot more to it, but I just don't want to say. But for a lot of people who thought Part 1 was too much of a set, it was like it wasn't really a film. More so, it's just trying to set up like things later on down the line.
Yeah.
This movie kind of pays all of that off. Like you're really gonna get like what everyone kind of like thought the first film was gonna be. So it kind of has a lot of action to it. Again, I don't want to give too much away. For obviously people who've obviously seen the film or have obviously just read the books, like this one is going to be the one. For a lot of people who haven't read the book or seen or even seen the movies at all, definitely check it out because this one is going to be like an action-packed.
Yeah, this one definitely. And I also, people who push back on the first movie, you've got to have a setting, you've got to have characters in place, you've got to have things built up to get a second movie that could be an all-time sci-fi movie. Like we've got the potential here. So I like the way you said that, but people do have to realize like you have to build to something. You can't just throw it all out and people like, why is Paul fighting? Like, what are we doing here? Like there are reasons why this building block's in place.
And also another thing is that because I think people forget like what I feel some people may not realize, but like if you're basing just just off the book itself, it's a really really long book. Like you can't just adapt the whole thing in one movie. There's a reason why like I haven't seen David Lynch's one, but there's a reason why some people don't like it as much because it kind of crams a lot in too much. Whereas obviously with this time, you're doing it across two films, so it kind of gives it time to really give it the adaptation that the book rightfully needs as well.
Totally fair. I'm with you 100%. First movie I thought was really intriguing. So looking forward to the second one, just like you are. Let's get into right off the bat. Lila Topuria. Holy shit. To beat a guy who fought for a world title the way he beat Josh Emmett is just so impressive. So impressive. Tell me what you like about his game, just based off of what we've seen recently.
Everything, like
that's the thing. It's like
everything, like considering when you go out there in your first main event against your probably the best person that you've probably faced so far in your entire career.
Yeah.
And you after around probably around like the first round, you're kind of just like waiting the time. You're kind of just like making reads. You're letting like Emmett come on to you, gonna like show him looks, trying to see how he's gonna throw. We all know. Watch out for the big right overhand. After making those reads, he's like, cool. I can now go to work after downloading data, which like a lot of people like to say. And you literally just beat the shit out of him. Like if you go out there and you get a 50-42 like scorecard, that kind of says it all. But it was just the way that even though he was picking him apart, like he was just bombing on him, he wasn't rushing in. Like just the way he was setting things up, and just literally just like his footwork, the way that like like every single time he did hurt him, like the thing I like about him, like considering that this was his first fight over 5 rounds, he never got greedy. He only went for it when he felt like, okay, I really have you hurt now. Because there were times when he will like tag obviously Josh Emmett, and Emmett will just like swing back just to so look, even though I'm getting up here and my eye looks like a fucking mess, I'm still here kind of thing. But it wasn't close. But Lila Topuria, man, like passed with flying colors. It was that. I mean, I kind of know we're gonna go into this a little bit later. But in terms of obviously just pure, just like in terms of all round performance.
Yeah.
Up there, man.
Yeah.
So impressive.
50-42 has to be the most lopsided score we've ever seen, right? Without the fight being stopped. I don't think there's ever been anything worse, has there?
I think
like in a 5-round fight. In a 5-round
fight.
I know Khabib might have had. He might have 10-8 somebody 3 times in a 3-round fight, but I don't remember anybody doing it for 5 rounds, 50-42. Like that's
Max
insane.
did it. Max did it against Calvin Cato.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
And I think a few other people as well, but that's like I think quite back in the day. But I kind of think the last time we seen a judge scorecard like that was Max against Calvin.
Okay. Yeah. So that's been a little while now, but
yeah.
That type of dominance is just insanity.
Crazy.
So let's fast forward a little bit. Volk comes out and says Ilya should wait for the title shot. Ilya wants to potentially fight Max Holloway. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, I know.
So, why would you risk it? Like, that's a big risk fighting Max Holloway. He's still so fucking good, dude.
Like, it's still Max. I mean, considering, well, it kind of, okay, I think it kind of really depends what happens next week, right? Because we've obviously got Volk against Yair. If Volk wins, Ilya, I can kind of see that. I know some people are going to say, well, pump, like, chill out now. This is his first main event, first 5 rounds. When you look that good, yeah. I have no problems with him going into a tie shot. And also considering that, you know, all the people ranked above him right now. Max has obviously lost to Volk 3 times now. Yep. Ortega, we don't know when he's coming back, and he's coming off 2 losses, even though his last loss was because of it was like his shoulder came out.
Jesus.
Olin Allen just recently lost to Max, and Max and Max is also going to fight the Zombie right now. And we already know. So, and with that in mind, let's just say, for example, let's say next week Volk wins. Cool. If Volk somehow loses, him and Yair are gonna fight again, and that's when it'll make sense for obviously Ilya to fight Max.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it kind of really depends, but again, like if we look at this, let's say end of the year, and his next fight is fighting for the belt. No problems with that whatsoever, because he, like, I can't put into words how good he looked, like, all round. And the crazy thing about it, right? He's actually like a grappler. Like, if you actually look into his background, he's known for grappling, but he's really worked on his feet and his striking, and he has heavy hands, man. So,
I mean, if you look at the stats, I mean, he did it everywhere. Like, he still threw in 3 takedowns. Like, it was like he still used it, but he didn't need it, which is even more impressive against somebody who can punch as well as Josh Emmett. Like, Emmett's dangerous on the feet, and Ilya was in there at all times, like, measured, had the range, just picked him apart. Fantastic win for Topuria. I think you got to wait for the title shot. I think Max is too big of a risk. I understand being young and hungry and wanting that fight against Max. I get that, because that's a big stamp of approval. But at the same time, you're still only got to wait like another week to know if you get to fight Volk. Like that's the real prize. So
and he's only 26, so
that's
like
what I mean.
he's
You're so young and you're so hungry.
Yeah.
Just maybe pump the brakes a smidge and don't jump away from a title shot to fight Max when Max can beat you. Like he's just he's that good. So looking down the rest of the Emmett Topuria card, I'm going to shout out one person to give you, and then I'll give you a little bit of time to shout out somebody. Maycee Barber planted her flag. That was lights out. Like we talked about Ilya having a lights out fight. That was lights out, and she got the finish. She put it on for the whole amount of time. Those elbows were gross.
That kick.
Dude, just
that kick was nasty.
Complete showing from her. So shout out to Maycee Barber, dominant. Got the stoppage. Flyweights, look out, because that right there, if she can parlay that into the next fight, that's a title fight waiting to happen for her. Because a big win in the women's in flyweight gets you right at the top, and that she's right there now for me. Anything you want to say about Maycee Barber before we get into who you thought was very impressive in the card?
This is easy, like Maycee Barber's best win, and she really needed this because like in the last few fights, people think, well, some fights in which she won, you say, well, you really lost that fight. It was like a close, it was very close. You kind of got lucky. You're talking about this. You're basically going to be like, you're going to be the youngest champion ever. We don't really see the hype in you, yada yada yada, etc. etc. And you go out there against someone in Amanda Hebus who's good, who's like legit good, and that fight is a bloodbath. Like like blood everywhere. You two are going at it. Like even though you're putting it on Amanda's coming back right at you until you have to literally put her away. Yep. And when she landed that head kick, just clang. And then when she gets her down, finishes her ground and pound, she comes up with the blood all over, like screaming into the camera. That fight, she kind of proved a lot. She proved a lot of people who doubt her wrong. And this could be like looking back on this, let's say in 3-4 fights time when she's fighting for the belt, or if she does eventually become champion, people will look back and say that fight right there was obviously the moment when obviously Maycee Barber became the person who she thought that she was going to be. So it was crazy impressive. And then there are like a few people that I do want to shout out. Special mention to Onama, that crazy uppercut KO against Santos in a fight that he was losing. Like personally, I thought for the first round. I don't like copying other people's celebrations, but when you're like in there and you're hyped up, adrenaline, and you get a crazy KO like that, obviously go for it. But I want to give Brendan Allen a shout out because he put on Bruno Silva, and Bruno Silva is dangerous. Pieced him on the feet and got a mean sub. Like, very, very impressive. And he made quick work of him. Very, very quick work of him. That was super.
He caught him more than once too. Like he caught him more than once, and he finally was able to get him down and get onto the neck. Brendan Allen, like you just said, impressive on the feet and getting that nice sub, the rear naked choke to get Silva out of there. Touch back on Onama. Very nice hands, man. Very nice hands. But he was getting beat. And I get the emotions, but like Izzy had a reason to do that celebration. There was like a point to that. The hunter being hunted, that there was like a reasoning. Be your own guy. Izzy's a great guy to roll yourself after, but be your own guy at the same time. Yeah. So I didn't hate it, but didn't love it. It was there. Overall, I thought a lot of those fights, besides besides Tafa and Lane, which had an unfortunate, That was a nasty ass eye poke. He had his whole fucking finger in his eye. Like
I
I know it was accidental, but that was a whole eye. Like that was a whole finger.
I haven't seen one that bent since Bilal against Leon. Like that was really hard to look.
And like you see like the blood trickle out of his eye, and he's like, I can't see any. Like, it's just so unfortunate that something's like your finger getting stuck in somebody's eye could just change a whole night. Yeah. I thought this was a very strong in the octagon fight card or fight night. Yeah. So shout out to the fighters. I thought they really brought it in general. Let's jump ahead. We are in the mid-season of the UFC year. Let's get into our mid-season awards right off the top of the bat. What was your fight of the year? Please don't say the same one as me.
I was torn because I have two. Like when they kind of come to mind, I have two. But I'm gonna go for Islam against Volk.
Fuck.
Sorry, man.
It was so good. It was so fucking good.
Like when you think about, you've literally got arguably the two best mixed martial artists pound for pound, and that fight lived up to whoever wins is best in the world. I know a lot of people think obviously Volk lost, and people still have Volk as the best fighter in the world, but that was high level MMA over 5 rounds. Like that was just elite technique competition. You know, Islam got dropped, Volk got dropped. Them two really went at it, and that is literally MMA at the highest level, and like it lived up to it. Like that basically lived up to a champion versus champion fight. You know, insane.
It was
crazy.
It was literally everything you could want in a like a super fight. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Yeah. Super fight. It was a super fight, and it went the distance. We got to see everybody's skills. We got to see a chink in Islam's armor. Like that was so good. That was good enough that we have Volk. Like we could see him do it again. Like we want Volk to fight him again to see if he could do it. Oh man, that was my pick. I was hoping you. What was your second pick then? Because I'm gonna piggyback off of yours, obviously. So what was your second pick?
So what I had as well was Shavkat against Jeff Neal. So
that one's going to show up again later in the awards for sure.
Okay.
Because Shavkat. Let's jump into Shavkat real quick. What do you think about him and Gastelum? Do you think that's a step down? To me, that's almost a step back.
It's
real quick. We can just touch on. We can talk more about it when it comes around, obviously. But Jeff Neal to me is probably as good, if not a little bit better than Gastelum right now.
It's kind of. I think it's kind of a double-edged sword in a way that you've got someone who's basically coming down in weight, who used to fight at this level and who isn't ranked, and you're looking at someone who a lot of people and who I see as a future champion one day. He should be fighting up the rankings. It kind of looks like there isn't anyone available right now for him. You've obviously got Leon against Colby. You obviously got Bilal, who's waiting for his obviously shot. You obviously Burns, who's obviously got injured recently. There's probably no one really around the top 10 who really wants to fight Shavkat right now, because obviously, let's be honest, who does?
Do you think if Burns didn't get hurt, it would have been Shavkat and Burns?
Yeah.
Well, Burns could get a title shot, though, so that's tough, too.
Yeah.
But that would be such a banger.
But I kind of feel like, their reason is obviously, it's going to be in a co-main spot. It's going to give him like a huge exposure against obviously like a big name. And it's also on Mexican Independence Day. Kelvin's Mexican. He needs obviously a good fight to come to kind of like boost all of that and obviously promote that. And also, we haven't seen Kelvin being stopped in a long time, if not ever, in my kind of like memory at least. So if Shavkat goes basically out there and finishes Kelvin, that is a huge statement. And he's probably one of those ones where if he wins in that kind of like big spot, his next fight is probably going to be for a title eliminator. So who knows?
Yep, that's totally fair. So yeah, our fight of the year: Islam versus Volk. Your second pick: Shavkat versus Neil. Or yeah, Jeff Neal. Both extremely good fights. Let's jump down to our knockout of the year. I'm going to go first so you don't steal it. I got to give it to our guy Israel Adesanya knocking out Alex Pereira.
Of course. Of fucking course.
That was probably the most important knockout of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of a moment and a spectacle. Now, you might say that the flying knee from Bonfim versus McKinney might be like more like spectacular, but the moment, the importance, the rivalry, it all means so much. So Izzy knocking out Alex is my pick for KO of the year. Just fantastic. I just, here's the thing. I'm in the camp now. I want Pereira to win the lightweight title so we can get it one more time.
Number 5.
Can we get it one more time just to see? So that I probably stole your pick. What is your backup answer?
Yeah, do you know, I was torn because I don't know if I wanted to pick that for KO of the year or moment of the year. I went for my KO of the year. Mm-hmm. My moment of the year will kind of you will kind of see why a little bit later on. But yeah, you know, Izzy's that's arguably one of the greatest counter KOs I've ever seen. Like he just caught him perfectly. But I'm gonna go for Diego Ferreira against Michael Johnson when he just sent him flying and just
the way he went back.
He was actually snoring. Like you can literally hear him literally just snoozing, you know, coming out of because especially when Ferreira isn't known for having knockout power, right. And to do that to someone like that and just send them literally off their feet flying across the octagon and he's out in one shot.
The body, the way he went back. Yeah, no, it was
just literally just stepping him, you know. And also there were the Bonfim McKinney knockout again up there, just crazy.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Barbosa. I did consider his knee on
BDQ.
Was it that knee was disgusting. So he was in my consideration, but I got the moment and the importance of Izzy and Pereira takes it over the top for me. Let's go to sub of the year. I'm going to assume our answer is the same for our first one. So go ahead and break down the sub of the year for you.
Mine is Davy Grant against Rafael Assunção.
Oh, you gave it to Davy Grant. Okay,
good. Because, you know, late third round and to do a inverted triangle like that and literally put him out. It wasn't the fact that he tapped. He literally put him to sleep.
Yeah.
Like crazy. And, you know, David Grant's known for, you know, he'll go out there and fight you. You know, he's always game, he's always up and his fight plays out on the feet because that's where he's really good at. And, you know, and on paper, Assunção is the better grappler. And like for him to do that, especially when after I think in that fight, David Grant was basically Dr. Point as well. So I feel like he was probably losing the fight. And for him to go out there and catch that and literally catch him like that, very, very impressive. Same.
Whew. That was okay. So I'm gonna give you both of mine. Obviously, the standing rear naked choke from Shavkat on Jeff Neal is one of the more impressive things I've ever seen. To choke a man out standing there like that was just such a brutal, manly, just fucking thing.
And just there, just all the blood everywhere as well.
You see the face chain, it was just something like a spectacle type thing. That's why I'm like, Shavkat's going down to fight gas. Let's keep going this way. But Alex Grasso, rear naked choke on the bullet.
I forgot about that.
And that's just such to me, it just changed her life. That's a life-changing thing. So I thought that she deserves some praise for that submission.
Oh yeah, definitely. I kind of feel like in terms of moments, those ones are well clear above the rest. I kind of just wait for more for technique.
No, that's totally fair. Yeah. Let's jump into our last one. performance of the year.
There are a few. So I want to give special mention to Ilya last week.
Oh yeah.
Jamal Hill, early when he kind of just put on a masterpiece against obviously Glover. Corey Sanhagen against Chito Vera, another great one. And I kind of know this one doesn't make sense and doesn't justify it, and it sounds like I'm going for a very safe pick.
Mm-hmm.
My moment of the year and performance of the year, I'm going for John Jones against Gane.
That's fair. The dominance and the return of John Jones, I can see why you're going that direction.
Yeah. But if I'm going out pure performance, I'll probably go for Corey.
Oh, Sandhagen, yeah.
Yeah.
God, I love Corey, man. He's just terrible on the microphone, but damn it, can he fight?
Yeah.
My performance of the year, I'm going to go with Brandon Moreno over Figgy in their fourth fight. I thought Moreno was just so fantastic, and he put a stamp on that rivalry in a really big way. And Brandon Moreno is one of my favorite guys. I would say he's right in that mix as one of my favorite guys. And secondly, look, this doesn't happen very often. I'm giving Gasso another edge over Bullet. I thought that was so important for flyweights and the women that somebody stepped up and beat the Bullet who wasn't Amanda. That's a massive, massive moment in women's flyweight fighting. So, definitely, I think both of those fights are deserving of a performance of the year. And the best part about it is in 6 months, we get to do this all over again, and we could have different answers. So,
sure.
Really impressive half a year of fighting so far.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Close on that. Okay. Just obviously we covered all of mid-year stuff. Who is the one fighter who you haven't seen yet that you are looking forward to seeing the most later on this year?
That I haven't seen yet?
That
hasn't fought yet this year?
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, this fight is something we're going to talk about a lot more. So I'm just going to say, just because I'm such a big fan of him, is Robert Whitaker. I can't wait to see him fight.
Mm-hmm.
But, Volk fought Islam this year, so he can't be it. This is tough. Probably Robert. I'm just going to stick with my guy. He's been my guy for years now. He's my guy. So I'm excited to see him. And I'm gonna have a much more important statement about that fight when we get there next week, because I think this has got a big feel to it for a different reason. So I'll say, Rob, what is your answer then?
Mine is, I'm looking to see what Yuri looks like when he comes back later on this year, if he does.
You think he's gonna come back this year still?
I do. I do kind of feel like him and Hill are going to fight later on this year. I don't know when, probably November maybe, but I feel like he'll come back at the end of the year. And it's going to be interesting to see how he looks like after this long layoff and after the bad injury which he had.
I like that a lot. I kind of want them to get Hill back in there, but one more time before he fights Yuri, just because
But there is no one really who's cementing himself as the next guy, and you can't really not give Yuri the next title shot because
totally true. I thought that's why they should have just gave Pereira a fight with Hill and just dealt with it, because we haven't even heard from Ankalaev. Is he alive?
We don't know, bro.
Has anybody reported him missing? Anything?
Yeah, but then there's no one really out there for him to fight that's free right now. So
I get it.
Right.
That's a good answer, though. Yuri.
We think about it this way. There's a reason why we're not seeing Pereira against Magomed. Ankalaev. You know,
There's
like,
a yes, obviously there's a reason they can't find Ankalaev, and they don't want Pereira to get beat by somebody who'll take him down.
Yeah,
totally makes sense. All right, let's get into this coming weekend's Strickland versus Magomedov fight night. Before we get into the main card, is there anything on the undercard you are excited to see?
I'm excited to see Guram Kutaladze fight again. I don't like. He's one of those. He's one of those lightweights where, you know, he should be a lot higher up than currently like what he is.
Yeah.
He's really good all round. He's fighting. I think it's Evers.
Brenner.
Yeah, Brenner. Yeah. So he's fighting him on the undercard. So that's kind of the fight that I'm kind of looking forward to most. And I already know you're going to talk about how our guy's back. So I will let you go.
So I'm gonna double-edged sword this. I'm excited for the return of Kevin Lee, Motown. I've been a fan of Kevin Lee for a long time.
Has one of the nastiest knockouts I've ever seen.
But why is Kevin Lee fighting on the undercard of a fight night? You look at the main card, you couldn't fit Kevin Lee on this main card. That's no disrespect to any of these other fighters, but Kevin Lee should be your co-main, and you could move Damar and Grant Dawson down one and slide somebody else out. Kevin Lee has enough name to people are going to tune in and watch.
Kevin Lee's probably outside Strickland, or arguably so. He's probably the biggest name on the card.
And the only reason he's not bigger than Strickland is because Strickland says dumb shit all the time. Literally, that guy just talks and says the dumbest shit you ever. Women should stop working. Like, what are we doing, dude?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Strickland should have been born in the 1600s. He would have excelled. He probably would have ruled a country because he's such but dude, you're such an asshole. But I'm super excited for Kevin Lee to be back. I don't think this is a walk in the park fight for Kevin Lee either. And that's another reason why I feel like it should be on the main fight card. This is a tough fight to come back to.
His opponent, Hanat, is on like a 19-fight win streak. Like,
yeah, they didn't do Kevin Lee even any favors. The dude's 20-1, and he's won 19 straight.
Yeah.
So he was 1-1 when he like that's crazy.
That's crazy.
But super excited to see Motown back.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Let's jump into the main card. We've got Bruno Ferreira kicking it off against I can't say that guy's name. Ruzabov in the middleweight division. How do you see this one shaking out? I know you're kind of a Ferreira guy, aren't you?
Yeah, Ferreira's pretty good. I mean, just in the few fights I've seen him fight, he has a really good style to him. I have him probably edging it out a little bit. Something kind of tells me this fight will probably be a little bit harder than probably most people will say. So
right,
I can see this one going over 3 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, Ruzabov has got a crazy amount of experience. I mean, he's got 44 fights under his belt compared to Ferreira's 10. So, like you said, this could go a little bit longer than what we think.
Yeah.
But let's jump ahead. Bonfim versus St. Denis. How do you got this one shaken out? This could be a good one. This got some potential right here.
You know, Bonfim, as we said earlier, he's coming off a highlight reel KO, nasty switch knee. But he's finally get someone who calls himself the God of War. So you already know this person is such a cool name. So he's coming to get someone who's never going to come out to fight. But I'm actually a believer in him because, because I know a lot of people give Terrence shit like online because he talks a lot and the thing that he posts memes on that stuff. But Terrence is fucking good. He's really, really good, and like I still think he's gonna eventually rise up the rankings at some point. And and obviously Bonfim, like if you look even if you look before the knee, he was really backing him down. He was really putting it on him, and before he put him away. So
Right.
I won't be shocked if obviously Bonfim comes out there and kind of gets another early crazy highlight reel finish. But I'm gonna say he probably gets it done within 2 rounds.
I'm going to go with the God of War.
Ooh,
10-1, impressive fighter. He's got a little bit of a size advantage, a little bit of a reach advantage. I think he can keep him back enough. He's a little bit better with the takedowns. I think he's got some elements that can give Bonfim trouble. If he can just stay away from that spectacular striking, I think he can beat him. I'm going to say it goes all 3 and he gets it, and I'm going to say a decision goes for St. Denis. Next fight, Ariana Lipski versus Melissa Gatto. How you got this one going down?
I got Lipsky winning.
You do?
I have got Lipsky winning.
Okay, tell me how she gets it done.
I just feel because we haven't seen a fight in a while,
right?
So I kind of feel like she's probably been just going away, just like working on a few things. If she's able to obviously use her grappling, I can see her kind of like nullifying Gatto a bit and kind of just like doing enough to get by.
I like Lipski. I think she's a solid fighter. I'm gonna go with Gatto. They're very, very comparable in terms of their skills. I'm just slight edge Gatto. Lipski's got some more experience. Gatto's a little bit younger. It's just a very close fight for me. I'm just gonna go against you. That's really the main thing. Is just go against you. Let's jump ahead. We got Max Griffin versus Michael Morales. How you got this one going?
Fight of the night. This is gonna be fight of the night. Max Payne, another great name.
So
Max
cool.
Payne, so cool. He'll really know Max Payne is literally all action. But Michael Morales is for real. He's 14-0. He's only 24, and his hands are mean. Like he has, he's one of those ones. Like once he gets very early on, he's really good at kind of like going for the gears quickly. And once he gets going and he knows that, once he knows he can get you hurt, he will literally put you away and he will get you out of there. And I feel he's kind of being like under the radar a little bit because there's a lot of talk of these undefeated welterweights right now. We've always got Hamza, who, if we still class him as a welterweight, we've got Shavkat, we've got Ian Gary, but we've also got Michael Morales as well. I think what's hurt him, we haven't seen him fight in a year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But still young, still undefeated, and Max Payne is kind of tailor-made for him in a way because Max Payne or Max Griffin, like he will come forward and he will literally stand there and also throw down with him, and doing that against this guy is asking for trouble. So I have a feeling that obviously Morales is going to make a huge statement.
I've got Morales. TKO first round.
I hear that.
Yeah, I think he gets him. This might be a Griffin retirement fight, actually.
He's at 37, right?
Yeah, but where's he going?
True.
I mean, it's just that, it's very, I mean, if he gets knocked out spectacular fashion, you just never know. I think Morales puts him out at probably later end of the first round. Then we've got the co-main, Damir Ismagulov versus Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson is a guy I'm growing into being a bigger fan of. How you see this one shaking out?
This fight is going to be close.
Yeah.
This fight, because Ismagulov, until he lost against Arman Sarukian, he was on a 19 fight win streak or something like that, so something crazy like that. And obviously Grant Dawson is currently on a 9-10 fight win streak. These guys are literally like elite level lightweights, and I think also Dawson is ranked 15th. So obviously that kind of shows how good he is. You kind of have to be somebody to be ranked within the lightweight division over here. Like it's just and Ismagulov has some really good wins. I think he's beat Joel Alvarez and a few other people as well. He has some really good names on his resume.
He's beat Alvarez. He's beat your guy Gumar.
He was big as well.
Yeah, so he's got some good wins in there.
So this fight is going to be close.
Yep.
Honestly, this one is a pick'em for me. Either way, I see this one go into a split decision. I'm leaning towards Ismagulov kind of just bouncing back, but again, I wouldn't be shocked at all if it does go the other way, because these two guys are right there, man. This is really good matchmaking. Really, really good matchmaking.
I'm gonna go with my guy Grant Dawson. Like you said, extremely close. We are splitting hairs here with this one. I double checked. Vegas has got it even money at -110. So I'm going to take Grant Dawson. Slightly better on the ground. I think that could make a difference in this kind of fight. Slight edge to Grant Dawson. Like you said, if Damir wins this fight, it was close. These guys are right there. Strickland versus Magomedov in the main event. Anytime Sean Strickland fights now, I hope he loses. So I'm going to take Magomedov simply for the fact that I've grown tired of hearing this asshole talk all the time. So you can break down the fight, but my pick is Magomedov.
This is clearly, we always got. I think this is Magomedov's second fight within the UFC. His first fight was that crazy front kick KO in like 19 seconds or something like that on his debut. Yeah. This fight right here is very, very clear to me. They want new guys up at middleweight because right now you've literally got the champion and you've got the number one contender or the ranked number one fighter who have cleared through everyone else, and it's kind of a bit of a barren wasteland right now. Yeah. There's a reason why obviously next week we've always got Dricus against obviously Rob. They kind of want to get they kind of want new people in to kind of like give the champion or the people at the top new comp. Albus. I mean, I've only seen Albus' first fight. His debut fight. He looked really good. He looked very, very dynamic. If he's able to obviously offset Sean Strickland's rhythm and don't let Sean Strickland like set the pace, because we know we all know what Sean does. He likes to throw out the jab and he'll jab you to death. He can do that over 5 rounds. He can put on a pace. He can literally just swarm you. Like he's kind of like Colby in a way. Like he won't throw 100% power, but he'll do 40, 50, 60, 70 and just pepper at you. And if you're not able to obviously live with that, you kind of just give up. You kind of just get like disheartened. He won't really go for takedowns. He'll kind of just overwhelm you. He'll kind of just outwork you in a way. If Albus is able to come up early and like hurt him and really push him back, then obviously he has a chance. We don't know with like over the course of obviously 5 rounds that could play a factor. That being said, I do see Magomed winning within 3 rounds, so I'm going for a second round TKO.
Nice. Okay, so we're both going Magomedov.
Yeah, and I think it's and I don't like saying this, but it's kind of like needed at this point that there needs to be new guys out there.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they've got to. So, this should be an interesting fight night. We both got Strickland losing in the main event. AJ, we pretty much wraps up. We got our Lila Topuria conversation. We chatted out Maycee Barber. We gave out our awards. Do you got anything else before we get out of here?
Oh, did you hear what happened in the PFL the other day?
I heard the one guy got upset. I can't think of his name, but that's
so So you know how in the PFL,
I know what you're talking about now. I know what you're talking about. Keep going, yeah.
yeah. So in the PFL, they have to have they have like a point system. So if you win, you get 3 points. Whatever finish you get within the rounds, you get bonus points.
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 guys fighting, best friends. They were godparents to each other's kids.
Yes.
Their fight was literally, there was no engagement. There wasn't really trying, right? It was kind of a bit more of a glorified training session.
Just come out and say it. Just come out.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. And the PFL suspended both of them.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me.
So they suspended him and then they put back in Burgos, right?
Shane? Yeah. Shane.
That sets such a weird precedent for your whole thing is brackets and fight. Like, that's not how, you can't do that. And who did Shane lose to? Shane lost. That's why he was out of the tournament, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So that was such a confusing thing. I don't like I don't like how that goes. I understand the fight stunk, but
because it's quite clear you put Shane in. Because you put Shane in because Shane's one of your bigger names, and you obviously got Mercer, like the other guy on the other bracket. It's clear they want them to kind of meet in the final.
But then Shane shouldn't have got beat. Shane's out. He got beat.
Yeah.
I have one more thing before we get out of here. This is like a preference type thing. I saw on Twitter yesterday. How would you feel if they made the interim title silver instead of gold?
I like it. It makes sense,
I know because you're not the full champ, but you're there.
Yeah, so it makes sense. I mean, I kind of like it. I know some people will say, well, in boxing they don't do that, but at the end of the day, boxing is boxing, MMA is MMA. We should do something a little bit different, because I mean, I saw that as well. Okay. It looks cool, and I know a lot of people don't like interim tires, but I think that's based because of how most times it's used. Yes, people just throw it in there. But then again, I will always say this: Izzy against obviously Kelvin was an interim title fight, and that is one of the best fights that we ever seen. So take that what you will.
I thought the silver looked really good on the UFC belt design. I thought it looked sharp. So I really liked it too. I think they should really consider going to that. But AJ, hey man, I think we had a hell of a show. Obviously, we'll be back next week to talk Strickland and Magomedov, and we get into UFC 290, which
international fight week
should be big time. I am ready for next week. Don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram, and we will see you guys next week. HOA out.
HOA out.